Welcome to Get Real Estate with Liz and Marie. I'm Liz.
And I'm Marie.
And we're both in odd places today, Marie.
I know. I am up at my beautiful lake house in Sholo, and you are at a renovation project.
Yes,
Tell us
I
a little bit about
am.
that.
Yeah, well, I am at this house that I recently inherited from another rehabber who wasn't able to get it finished. So you never know what could happen in the background here very soon.
Yes.
There could be some yelling or something happening. But
I snuck into a private room and locked the door just so, one of my in-laws don't come running in or something.
Well, are they all up there with you? All the
yes.
sets? Oh,
yes.
Fun. Well, you're on spring break. So, oh my gosh. So that's awesome. I didn't realize that Barb and Jean were up there.
Barb and Jean and my mom. So
yeah. Oh, how fun. How fun to bring them all up there. I think that's great. Yeah. So this is just, I had a realtor friend who sold me another house call me one day, and he was in a little bit of hot water with this house and asked me if I needed a project. And the same day I had another private money lender ask me if I needed more money. And I was like, what? That's what you call a God wink.
God wink. Yes. Right. Everything coming together. Yes. That's awesome.
And here's you putting in, getting a new project under contract too. So
yes, I know. I'm excited to close on that. And then, and Jake got another property under contract down in North Carolina. So we'll have a 30-day close on that, but another opportunity.
How many is that back there in North Carolina then now?
So this will be our fourth.
Wow. And are all of them being renovated, or some of them ready to go?
No, 2 of them are being renovated. One already has a renter who, woohoo, I set her up on apartments.com. I got rent today for March. Yeah. And then this new one is also already rented. So 2 turnkey, 2 renovations.
That's nice. That's good. So you're not pulling your hair out with 4 back there and then trying to do 1 here. That can get crazy.
I know. And we're still trying to finish up stuff here at the lake house too. So the second house, there's some major renovations still going on.
Oh, fun. Well, very good. Well, and then next week I'm going to be on spring breaks, but I'll still be here, but I'll be in warm, sunny Mexico. So
I know it'll be fun to see you next week calling in from Mexico.
Yep. Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so let's get to this. So yeah, I'll let you do your numbers and then why we picked a couple articles today, but
yes,
we're looking out there.
This will be good. Let me get my screen all set up. It's interesting when I'm not working on my double screen and I'm working on my single screen on my laptop.
I know, me too. You're like this big right now.
I know. I'm just a little pipsqueak. Okay, so the MLS. Okay, so went through the MLS like I do every Tuesday to get you guys some updated facts and figures on what is going on in the markets. So this week from last week, okay, so just March 8th to March 1st, we went up 44 whole listings on the MLS. But that is good because last week we were trending down again. So at least now we're coming back up. We'll see if that continues to happen.
Yeah. Can you hear that pounding?
I can hear them pounding. If you want, you can mute for a minute. It's fine.
I know. I'm going to.
Yeah, just until I get through the numbers.
I know. So, wait a minute. Okay. Yes.
Does it give you an option?
Yes, it does. Stop.
Okay.
I think it does.
Let's see. If not,
mute.
Yes. Okay, we muted Liz. Okay, so we are at 4,490 active listings across Maricopa County. Okay, so I mean, it's still a ridiculously low number, guys. Okay, less than 5,000, 20,000 is a typical what we like to see in our market. So strong sellers market. Our median list price went up a whole whopping $1,000 from last week. So we're at 505 across the valley. The average days on market, interestingly, came down in a few of the cities. So that's good. Across the valley, it came down 3 days. And in Tempe, it came down 13 days. Tempe was like over 100 days, which is kind of crazy. But our active number of rentals across the county went up 61. So we're at 3,890.
And that's an interesting number to me. Just because there were some other articles I looked at, last week we talked about the rentals. And there's other articles I see, and they talk about how freaking tight the rentals are here too. So yes. I don't know if that's just such a big turnover, like I'm moving from here and moving to there and I'm moving, but
Right.
that's,
Well, and I'm thinking, again, I'm sticking to MLS data. So there's obviously other listing services and things that I think, not every apartment for rent or house for rent gets on the MLS. So I'm just sticking straight MLS data. So there might be, more properties available and price changes. But yeah, it's interesting because we've talked about how difficult it is to find an apartment. We've talked about rents going crazy from last year to now. But honestly, over the last like 6 months that we've been doing this, the rents have remained pretty consistent for what the MLS
yeah.
shows us. But even in Scottsdale, the home price jumped $42,000 again. So they're back up at 1.5 as the median list price in Scottsdale. So
Crazy.
that, it's interesting to see those jumps. And Phoenix as a whole came down almost 14 grand on median list price, which is interesting. So we will see how those pan out over the next few weeks. And then probably next week, maybe I'll do another, 3-month back or something. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see where we've come.
For sure.
All right. So let's jump into the articles, Liz. What do we got for?
Well, okay. So I picked this article because what do we do? Our motto is save now. And we have a cost comparison, and we take us versus a traditional real estate agent versus an iBuyer. And so this article caught my eye because it talks about Phoenix ranking number 2 in the nation for the number of homes that iBuyers buy here. So it is a competitive market for us, but it's still, and I forget who was number 1. I think it's somewhere in Florida. And Texas has some big ones, but it just caught my eye because I want to point out again how we can save people money too. The iBuyer comes in and gives you an offer, but it's not necessarily what their end offer is. So this was interesting to me. So I just wanted to talk about that. We get hit pretty hard out here with them. Although Zillow has gone away. This article does talk about Zillow, and you put a link in here that does say that Zillow is no longer buying houses because they weren't buying them correctly. And I have 2 friends that I personally know that sold to Opendoor, and both of them sold for higher than what Opendoor was able to resell their properties for. So how is that? I don't get. I know their margins aren't so small, but
right.
crazy.
So wait, let's just back up for a minute. So if anyone's watching this and they have no idea what an iBuyer is, let's just say these are corporations that buy houses like Offerpad, Opendoor, Zillow Offers. Those were the 3 biggest that are listed in this article. However, Zillow Offers back in October of 2021 already halted purchase. And like you said, there's a lot of people that they're selling their house to Opendoor, and then a few months later, Opendoor is selling it for less than what they purchased it for. So they're losing money. So we're not sure if it's the back end software, how they're figuring out their home pricing, but they are obviously supposed to be making money when buying and selling homes. And right now I feel like, Zillow was upside down. Opendoor sounds like it's headed in the same direction. So it'll be interesting to see how long these services are still around.
Oh, and that's exactly it. And I know these companies are then selling to REITs, which is a real estate investment trust, that are large. It's a way of investing for corporations.
If they keep it and rent it, right? But if they don't keep it as a rental,
but just in reselling, I don't get it either. And so, but their margins are so small. I don't know if they're buying in such volume that they can take these losses. But if I'm talking, I have 2 people. And there's, more people, and now there's more cities and there's more stuff. Yeah. When does that run out?
Well, and don't forget, they do have service fees. So they are making money on their service fees no matter what, just like an agent has commissions, iBuyers have service fees. They always, toot their own horn to say, oh, we don't have commissions, but then they hit you with those service fees. And they'll tell you don't need to do repairs, but they're going to show you once they come and do their inspection, oh, these things need to be fixed. And so this, your offer is going to be reduced. So it's interesting. And we don't do
And
that,
so
right?
I know we don't. So that's a great point. I mean, that's what I was going to say, how they work. They're going to give you an offer, sight unseen. You fill it out on the computer. We did this because I mention every week that we're moving. So we put it in just to see. And it's funny because I get a weekly thing from them, how the offers jumped up, but they haven't seen our house yet at all. This is just literally an algorithm doing this jump up. So then
Right.
we have a view lot, so they have to pay a premium for that. So that's an up on our end, but they haven't come and seen the repairs or, the service fee or anything, which would be down. But then in the meantime, we've decided to do some stuff to our house. So we did the flooring, countertops, and the paint. So now Offerpad is off the table, and they always were. Opendoor. We just wanted to see what that, what that was like. But that is exactly it. They give you a price, but then they come and see it. And then they're like, well, and on here it says, there could be a 7 to 13% service fee. And then they're like, well, we see that we have to do probably $5,000 to $7,000 in repairs. So then that comes off. And so it's not the offer you get. It's not the offer you get.
So even think about that, okay? 7 to 13% is what's listed in this article as service fees. And like, even when you sell with an agent, you usually negotiate, 5 or 6%. So it's interesting, that people are still looking that route, but, if it works for you, it works for you.
I know, but why else? They want to quit. They want a guaranteed, so to speak, a guaranteed close and something that they don't have to, they can walk away from. But that's what we do too, people. You can walk away. You don't have to fix, repair, clean, maintain anything. And you can leave unwanted items behind.
I mean, Liz, do you remember that offer, the house in Chandler, where they ended up going with another offer, but at the same time, they were like, oh my goodness, we were working with Offerpad and then they moved us from this person to this person to this person to this person. Nobody even knew what the previous person had offered us. It was such a fiasco of the chain. So it's interesting, but I was going to say, we're not knocking iBuyers, but we're totally knocking iBuyers.
Yeah. And we're doing shameless plugs for ourselves.
Yes. I mean, their algorithms are all funked up.
And the article presented itself. So, and it was less than 24 hours old when I found it. So, it's not, I didn't go digging for something.
Well, tell us about this second article.
So the second article this has been an ongoing thing. Lumber prices skyrocketed in the last 2 years when COVID hit. And I have heard they're coming down. Now, as you and I in this business, this is a big issue for us. And not being able to compensate for that at one point in time and then having to pay that price. You have one price in mind and then you have to pay another price. This can kill your budget, can kill your return that you're looking for. And so
just bringing up lumber and builds, right? I text Rochelle while we were on the phone. So one of our friends is focused just on new builds. And she just finished up her Camelback project. She estimated at the end that their new build cost was $166 a square foot.
And she started at 120.
Wait, 166. She's just got 2 new builds that they're starting that they're quoting 220. So from the Camelback property that she finished at $166 a square foot, the 2 new builds that she's working on right now were quoted at 220. And she just mentioned that another investor is working on a building in Paradise Valley, and she was quoted $300 a square foot.
Oh my goodness.
That is more on the retail side. That's more of a private thing. But the price of new builds is skyrocketing, and it has to do with the lumber. And I mean, the supply and demand for all of the stuff, right? But still appliances and other things that have been difficult to get. But I love this article related to lumber in particular, because not only were the new builds interesting to me, but we are building a little tree house up here for my boys in Sholo, and the price of lumber for the treehouse is ridiculous. So this
it's gonna be a Taj Mahal treehouse.
Yeah, I mean, there's no bathrooms in there, but still, just the lumber pricing is out of control.
That's funny. That's very funny. Well, but what this article taught me too was, why did the prices go up? Well, sure enough, when COVID hit, there was stay home orders. People were doing that, but we get a tremendous amount of our lumber from Canada. And so Canada, the government subsidized some of that for the wood and for their labor and stuff. And so they can sell it cheaper. And so to kind of penalize them in retaliation, the United States then puts tariffs on them and anti-dumping rules because as Americans, we want to buy, as companies, they want to buy the cheaper wood from Canada. And so that kind of struck me as funny. And now with this trucker stuff and the vaccine mandates, it's going to be harder to get that stuff back and forth. So sure, I'm all about Buy America, but now it's just kind of a convoluted mess, I think, a little bit right now.
Yeah.
So,
and this is so true. Okay. So we were just actually in Lowe's, not Home Depot, but according to this article, a piece of plywood is currently $100 where it used to be $17 in April 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 years ago it was $17 and now it's $100. That's
dang
crazy.
Sheet of plywood. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And people are still buying it.
And if you can get it well,
we were buying 4x4s that they had outside because they were warped. And we were like, we'll take the warped ones for half price. Thank you very much. It's just a treehouse.
Yeah. True. Well, out front of this house, they put in a new beam and they put up a little supporting wall and nobody's taken it down yet. And I need a wall finished off from a closet that we took out. And so I told my project manager, you take those 2x4s from the front and you rebuild that wall in there.
reuse that lumber.
Right? Don't get rid of anything. So yeah, made me laugh. So I don't know.
What do you think? It seems like the prices are gonna start to come down, but
yeah, but then there's just supply and demand everywhere. Who knows? And how long is that going to take to catch up to us? Look how quickly, just within days, how quickly gas went up. It's so funny how the prices seem to go up faster than they seem to come down.
Right. So even if the big corporations are getting the wood cheaper right now, we have not seen that in Home Depot and Lowe's as consumers.
No,
yet.
because this is wood bought, for 6 months from now. And it's interesting because the new builders out here, there was one of the new builds and this was months ago, maybe even a year ago, but they were doing something unprecedented. They said that they were offering people an option to get their deposit back and get out of their new build if they wanted to, because it was going to take too long to get built. But reading between the lines was, oh my gosh, we can resell this house for a higher price. We're going to get burned. If you want to get out, you can, because we're going to bump up the price. So the people were smart. They were like, no, I already have built an equity now because the house is going to be worth a lot more and it costs you more to build it.
Yeah. So now it's so crazy.
Yeah. So,
all right. So let's go to some happy news.
I know. Feel good story. So Bob's Free Bikes refurbishes old bikes for children in need. This is near and dear to my heart because we always called my husband the bike fairy. The kids any kid in the neighborhood, leave their bike on the front porch and they knew the next night they could come back over and get it and it was fixed. That Scott Quinn was the fixer of all bike things. And so this is a good thing for him. They need volunteers. He'll probably tell me he wouldn't have time right now, but maybe down the road. But we do donate. At one point in time, I think we had about 21 bikes in our garage. So it's always been a passion of ours. And he took a whole bunch of them down to one of these places sometime in the last few months. And then when we move again, we're going to donate even more. I think we're going to end up with maybe 4 bikes at the end. But anyway, he fixes them and he gives them back to the children. And it's so wonderful. Kids need to be outside. Like what you said today, Marie, what happened with you today?
Oh, my son had a meltdown because we told him he had to go play outside because he was so stuck with his video games and TV time. And I was like, nope, that's it. No more TV until we're back to Phoenix. But anyway, just going back to this article. So Bob Mandel founded Bob's Free Bikes 5 years ago. What does it say? Former Hills Middle School helped transform.
Well, it looks like they refurbished them in a school. Like there must have been a former building. And so they took over, they had 1 classroom. Then they had 2 classrooms. And they had a parts room. And now they've taken up a whole bunch of the school.
Oh, that's awesome. So they're doing it in
doing both things. Yeah.
Yes, that's good. And then it's teaching the students how to fix their own bikes, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it does that. They look for the volunteers in these Guys get in there and just have a good old time. And then
Nice.
they donate them to foster homes, Title I schools, to different organizations throughout the valley for them
Nice.
to then, give to the children or do whatever. So I just thought it was great.
Well, thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thank you, Bob.
All right, and what else is going on in the valley right now? So
well, this weekend is NASCAR. It's NASCAR, big NASCAR weekend. No spring training. I think we're out.
I think we are out. I'm kind of sad about it. I'm gonna put that in who else is gonna be sad?
I saw your picture today of Christian. My God, he's a little tiny Christian.
It was 8 years ago, so he was just a few months old, and we had him at his first ever spring training game, and I was like, who else is gonna be sad? I'm gonna be sad.
Yes, no, totally sad. Although it's beautiful weather here, but it's chilly for us. Game, but it's nice. Actually, it's nice out in the sun. I'm not complaining. So then the Renaissance Festival.
Really big into NASCAR. So I want to say her dad went up to there was something I think in Vegas, and now he's just hanging out here to enjoy the one coming up in Phoenix Raceway. Before he goes back to Chicago.
Oh, so, that's awesome.
March 11th to 13th. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, my friend usually go, but I just talked to her today, and her husband had some back surgery, so they're not going to go this year. But it's always a fun time out there. NASCAR fans are, it's a good group of people.
Yes. And then we got Loop Days, March 19th and 20th.
Yeah.
Tempe Festival of the Arts, Country Thunder. Are you going to Country Thunder? You said you might be going.
I'm not sure. I do have a place. I have a place to stay and all that. It's just, I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, I know. We got a lot of traveling going on.
Yeah, we do. So and then restaurant week. So speaking of which, your sister's coming in this week. I hope I get to meet her. I know. I really want to meet her because it's gonna be tight with me leaving.
I know.
But
I know. Well, I'm hoping I can bring her out Thursday and evening for dinner. So we'll just tag her in on our reservations. But yes, my sister's coming into town. She hasn't been to Phoenix yet.
I know. It's awesome.
At least, I mean, she might have been in the airport or something, but she's never stayed with me at my home. So I'm very excited. And we are going to a real estate seminar this weekend.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Too, which is going to be cool. So the Wealth Accelerator, if anyone is interested in.
Oh yeah, maybe you could drop a link in there afterwards.
Yeah, I can drop a link in Facebook. So
yeah, cool. All right, very good. Well, we've gone over. It's good. Yes. We're both good. So have fun up there with your fam.
Thank you. All right. Peace and love.
And we'll be back next week.
Yes, we will. Bye, guys.